Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Ron DeSantis Twitter space.
Hello? Is my microphone working correctly?
George, can you just wait while we...
Hello? Can you hear me?
We can all hear you, George. Can you just hold on for a second?
Hilfa, I don't think they can hear me.
I can hear you fine, George. Just speak to the
I don't think George knows how to use Twitter.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Can I please make my big announcement now? Everyone just...
Hello?
Just shut up, George.
Can somebody just mute George?
Dick, could you try not to cough on the...
Okay, so how are we going to take out Trump, you guys?
Guys from the FBI, this is not a private call. This is a public Twitter space. Everyone can listen in.
God damn it.
Anyway, guys, we invited everyone to this this Twitter space so Governor Ron DeSantis could...
Everyone just shut the hell up so I can make my announcement, okay?
You go, girl.
Wait, the devil is gay?
So what? Everyone in this call is gay. I happen to know every single one of you has a secret gay lover hidden in your closet.
Mein Führer, ich kann nicht zulassen, dass die Soldaten, die für Sie verwenden. Feiglinge!
Guys, can we please just calm down?
So anyway, guys, I just wanted to announce that I'm...
Okay, I can hear the governor very well.
Shut up.
Would you please shut up already? I'm running for fucking president, okay?
Yeah, we kind of already knew about it.
know, Governor.
Congratulations, Governor.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Guys, we got to talk about Ron DeSantis, who has officially declared that he is running for president of the United States. He has thrown his hat in the GOP presidential arena, and nobody should be surprised, okay? I mean, he's been obviously gearing up to run for president for a long time, and now he's officially declared. So I want to talk about it because his launch did not go as planned, and it is very clear, at least from the start, that Ron DeSantis has an uphill battle if he actually wants to beat Trump. Again, this is all stuff that I'm going to talk about, but first I want to play an ad that he released, the first ad that he released to go alongside his official announcement for president. Take a look.
Our border is a disaster. Crime infests our cities. The federal government makes it harder for families to make ends meet, and the president flounders. But decline is a choice, success is attainable, and freedom is worth fighting for. Righting the ship requires restoring sanity to our society, normalcy to our communities, and integrity to our institutions. Truth must be our foundation, and common sense can no longer be an uncommon virtue. In Florida, we proved that it can be done. We chose facts over fear, education over indoctrination, law and order over rioting and disorder. We held the line when freedom hung in the balance. We showed that we can and must revitalize America. We need the courage to lead and the strength to win. I'm Ron DeSantis, and I'm running for president to lead our great American comeback.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, I actually thought that was a pretty good ad. But again, the problem is not necessarily the ad itself. It's the fact that Ron DeSantis chose to do his announcement, his formal announcement on Twitter Spaces to be more specific, which is basically an audio platform on Twitter where people can all gather around and listen, right? It's almost like a fireside chat. Okay, that's what it reminds me of. You know, the fireside chats they used to have back in the day where the president would get on the radio and then families would gather around the radio and listen to the president talk or whatever. That's kind of what it felt like to me in regards to how it was marketed. However, when it actually came time for Ron DeSantis to sit down and to do this Twitter space with Elon Musk, David Sachs, and other people who were helping to put on this event, it did not go as planned, as Twitter Spaces repeatedly crashed during Ron DeSantis' 2024 announcement. Okay, it crashed. People had issues actually getting into the space. I tried to get into the space to listen to it, couldn't get into it. It was just not functional, right? Again, which is a disaster for Ron DeSantis because he needs everything to go smoothly for him during this launch, and things just did not go smoothly because there was a ton of glitches with Twitter Spaces.
Wow, there's 382,000 people in the room.
All right, great. So let's see.
So they just keep crashing, huh?
Yeah, I think we've got just a massive number of people online, so it's servers are straining somewhat. There's some delay. All right, we're just reallocating more server capability to be able to handle the load here. It's really going crazy. So yeah, I'm obviously very excited to have Governor DeSantis make this.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, again, there was over 700,000 people waiting for Ron DeSantis to make his announcement, which apparently was a load that Elon Musk was not prepared for. Okay, I mean, 700,000 people is a lot of people. I mean, that's like the same amount of people that may be watching, you know, maybe MSNBC right now, okay, in prime time, okay? So again, this was a huge event for Twitter Spaces. It just sucks that it did not go correctly, and people took advantage of this, including Democrats, but most importantly, Trump, who basically trolled Ron DeSantis and his presidential campaign, starting off with quite literally a crash. Take a look.
That I'm proud to be an American. And I won't forget the men who died.
We are kind of melting the servers.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
To freedom, and is willing to put his money where his mouth is. Upset the narrative control imposed on us by our government.
Who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up.
Yeah, so again, Trump is loving this. He's taking full advantage of it. And he's posted on social media, including Instagram, with his trolls of Ron DeSantis. Now, Governor DeSantis did eventually get to speak on Twitter Spaces. He gave his speech, and I actually want to play some of it here, probably a couple minutes of it, so you guys get an idea of what he said. And then I'm going to give you guys my opinion on his presidential launch and his speech and just everything in general up until this point. So without further ado, roll the clip.
I understand that you may have an announcement to make. We've got, I think, a record audience assembled here. You know, probably the biggest room that's probably ever been assembled online. What would you like to tell them?
Well, I am running for president of the United States to lead our great American comeback. Look, we know our country's going in the wrong direction. We see it with our eyes and we feel it in our bones. Our southern borders collapse. Drugs are pouring into the country. Our cities are being hollowed out by spiking crime. The federal government's making it harder for the average family to make ends meet and to attain and maintain a middle-class lifestyle. And our president, well, he lacks vigor, flounders in the face of our nation's challenges, and he takes his cues from the woke mob. I don't think it has to be this way. American decline is not inevitable. It is a choice, and we should choose a new direction, a path that will lead to American revitalization. We must restore sanity to our nation. This means embracing fiscal and economic sanity. Stop pricing hardworking Americans out of a good standard of living through inflationary borrow, print, and spending policies. And please embrace American energy independence. This also means replacing the woke mind virus with reality, facts, and enduring principles. Merit must trump identity politics. We must return normalcy to our communities. America's a sovereign country. Our borders must be respected. We cannot have foreigners pouring into our country illegally by the millions. We cannot allow drug cartels to poison our population with fentanyl. Public deserves safe communities, and law and order must be maintained in American cities. We can't have inmates running the asylum, and we must reject attacks on the men and women of law enforcement. We also must reestablish integrity in our institutions. This includes the military. I'm proud to be a Navy veteran, an Iraq veteran, and I revere our services. But when revered institutions like those in our military are more concerned with matters not central to the mission, whether it's global warming or gender ideology and pronouns, morale declines and recruiting suffers. and you need to eliminate these distractions, and we need to get focused on the core mission. We also cannot have true constitutional government if the most significant issues are decided by the whims of unelected bureaucrats rather than the people's elected representatives. Reestablishing integrity in our institutions means we must reinvigorate our constitutional system by returning the government to its rightful owners, we the people.
All right, so you've seen that, you heard that. Okay, what we have here is Ron DeSantis giving a speech. Clearly, it was pre-written. It wasn't really a conversation, again, as much as it just was a speech on Twitter Spaces. Now, before I get into what I think about it, I want to show you guys the polls here. We have Trump up in this poll right here, this Real Clear Politics poll. He's at 56.3%, with Ron DeSantis being the second, trailing him at 19.4%. Trump is up an average of 37 points in all of the Real Clear Politics polls, okay, on average. So, you know, I think that Ron DeSantis has a steep hill to climb in order to actually be able to have a chance of beating Trump. Not saying it isn't possible, but it is a long shot. Now, with that being said, what do I think about his launch? What do I think about his campaign? What do I think about Trump versus DeSantis in general? Well, first and foremost, when it comes to his launch on Twitter Spaces, it's not something that I would have did. Even though I think that it was a risky idea, right? High risk, you know, high reward or whatever. I mean, Ron DeSantis is basically pioneering what I think is the future, okay? Again, 700,000 people showed up. It just sucks that it crashed, right? It kind of made the start of his campaign less impactful as it would have been, right? If he just would have gave an old-fashioned speech, did it on television instead of Twitter Spaces or whatever, that probably would have been better, okay? But again, I'm not sure if he would have got 700,000 people watching on television. Maybe he would have. I think he probably could have, depending on what network he decided to do it on, what networks decided to broadcast it. Maybe a lot of networks would not have done it. Maybe only Fox News would have done it. I'm not sure. But him doing it on Twitter Spaces, I think, was a risky idea. It just didn't go well, right? It's one of those things where I would have done it traditionally, but then afterwards, I would have done some type of Twitter space where I would say, hey, after my speech on television, I'm going to do a Twitter space and I'm going to talk, you know, with Elon Musk or whatever. But it's good for Twitter. Even though it crashed the first time around, it does kind of introduce people to what the future is going to be. And the mainstream liberal media, I'm telling you, they are making fun of Twitter Spaces for crashing, but they're shaking in their pants right now. Because, again, you had 700,000 people show up to what is the 2023 version of a fireside chat, right, with the president, okay? Even though Ron DeSantis is not president, he's government, but he's running for president. And I think in the future, you're going to see a lot more presidential candidates do Twitter Spaces because it's just a very easy way to connect with people who are interested in what you have to say, right? Again, I think it's the future. So it's a W for Twitter, right? I think it's an L for Ron DeSantis, okay? I think that this is an idea that definitely is going to gain more traction. Hopefully Elon Musk has learned, and in the future, it won't crash like that. Now, with that being said, what I think about him running in general, this is what I think. I don't want to participate in the Trump versus DeSantis civil war, right? Which is currently happening right now in the GOP. This is a civil war that's been going on a long time, right? It's just been swept under the rug because people are uncomfortable with this idea of Trump and DeSantis not actually being cool with each other. And they don't really want to talk about it. But now people are forced to talk about it because he's actually in the race. They're running against each other. And all I have to say is let the best man win, right? I like both of them. I would much rather have a Trump 4 years and then a DeSantis 8 years. That's my dream scenario. However, I'm a realist when it comes to politics. All these guys have egos, right? They all want power here and now. I understand why DeSantis is running because 4 years from now, he may not be the guy, right? That's kind of how politics works. I mean, Ted Cruz was the guy back in 2016. Now he's not, right? He's not the guy anymore, okay? He's not a viable presidential candidate. So, you know, once you got the juice, you got to take advantage of it, right? If you got the juice, you got to, you know, take a shot, right? Now, again, I just hope that DeSantis doesn't get hurt too bad if he loses by Trump, in which his whole political career goes down the drain. I think he's been too good of a governor for that to happen, but you just never know. So with that being said, there's been a lot of criticism of Ron DeSantis lately that showed up in his presidential announcement. Mainly the fact that it seems that ever since he has now gone head-to-head with Trump, they've confronted each other. DeSantis's baby Trump style is not working anymore because he actually can't really do that. Okay, I mean, this is one thing I tried to bring up about DeSantis a while back, is that it is clear that Ron DeSantis, before he was elected governor, was not the guy that he is now. Okay, he definitely copied all the best things about Trump and basically did not adopt all the worst things about Trump. And he also is a savvy kind of, political strategist in the way that he governs, and it worked for him, right? And now that he's going up against the original guy, Trump, he can't really play the whole, baby Trump thing. Okay, he has to actually find his own personality, his own swag, and he's struggling to do that, right? And it's showing up already, and he's not even on the debate stage yet. I mean, it seems to me that DeSantis is just kind of falling apart when it comes to him kind of establishing his own brand about who he is. Again, he can't do the mini Trump thing because he's not going to be able to out Trump the original. He's just not going to be able to do it. And I think that is something that is going to haunt him. I mean, he better develop a personality, right, or some swag in the next few months if he wants to have a chance of winning. And I know some people are probably watching this and listening to this and be like, well, why does it matter? He's a great governor. He has great policies. This shouldn't matter. None of this stuff should matter. He's not a showman like Trump. And I'm like, well, I wish that politics was like that. However, that's not what politics is like in 2023. In 2023, if you want to win, if you want to get in office, you have to be a showman, right? You have to have a personality that people are going to be drawn to and that people are going to like, okay? I mean, Ron DeSantis definitely is a great governor, okay? He's great on the policies. It's just that, the personality is lacking a little bit, okay? And again, unfortunately, that matters in American politics. The mainstream liberal media is scared to death of him, though, because they know that he's probably a more effective executive than Trump would be in regards to getting stuff done. And that's why they honestly really don't want him in office more so than Trump, right? They would probably much rather have Trump than they would DeSantis because they know how effective DeSantis can actually be. He actually has a government executive experience, something that Trump didn't have when he first got into office. Now, I mean, who's to say that Trump wouldn't be better at that if he got back in office since he now has experience? But I'm just saying, DeSantis, in my opinion, probably knows the ins and out of government much better than Trump, right? And that is something that the mainstream liberal media is scared to death of. So with that being said, I think that DeSantis is going to have to find a way to focus on his policies, focus on the successes and the wins of Florida, while at the same time developing some sort of showmanship like Trump, but not necessarily in the mold of Trump, but more in his own mold, his own personality that, can get people drawn to him so that he can develop out a hardcore base. I mean, he already does have a hardcore base because his policies were so good. But if he really wants to win over Trump supporters, which may or may not be impossible at this point, he's going to have to bring some more energy to the table. Okay, he's going to have to definitely, develop out some sort of brand that is distinctly different from Trump, but also at the same time still America first, and really, tout his policies and what Florida has done as a state that is leading this country in the right direction. So with that being said, I'm excited, right? Let the best man win. Then here we go. The presidential season has begun. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.